watch the sunset from a boat at the end of the world, Finisterre, and get close and personal with its wildlife. And on to Muxia, where the sunsets are more spectacular, to finish this 3-month, 2,350 kilometre journey and throw a few possessions belonging to my mother, who passed away last week, into the Atlantic Ocean. I am in Santiago after finishing the Camino Primitivo. I say finishing because it was cut short halfway as I got a call from my brother-in-law that my mother had been rushed to hospital with hours to live. I rushed back to Madrid and was holding her hand when she took her last breath. Then, after the cremation, I knew that the best way to honour her was to return to the Camino, give thanks at the Cathedral of Santiago, then walk to Finisterre and finish in Muxia, where I had a few possessions of Mum, and throw them into the Atlantic Ocean. This is the shirt that my brother-in-law Angel made for this 3-month journey to celebrate my father's 100th anniversary. The life of a migrant, a tribute to all those who had to leave their homeland in search of a better life. The journey beginning in Algeciras, Gibraltar, on the 29th of March to Tarifa, southernmost point in Spain, through a multitude of cities that have been symbolic in my parents' life as well as my own, to northernmost point in Spain, Estaca de Bares. In the Compostelas, I added Indicaria Pro, or person you walk for. On the left was when I arrived in Santiago on the 21st of May with my parents' names. On the right, when I arrived in Santiago 16th of June after my mother's death. I walk the deserted streets of Santiago to begin the last leg of this 3-month journey. It's my 81st day since I began, and so much has happened, not just the physical component that I brush aside as something that you're compelled to do, but the emotional ones that will live in your mind forever. So much planning that went into this journey, the celebration of your father's 100th anniversary, and now full circle with the death of your mother. It's hard to put into words, so I let my actions speak for how I feel, and that is that I am driven with a strong need to end this journey in Muxia and the Atlantic Ocean. Ponte Maceira, about 17 kilometres from Santiago, is a favourite of mine. The five-arch medieval bridge over the Tambre River has been a vital passage for pilgrims for over 8 centuries. And soon enough, Negreda comes into view, and I'm staying in Albergue San Jose, same albergue as in 2016 when I did the Camino del Norte, Primitivo and Muxia, Finisterre. I come to the monument of the immigrant. It pays homage to people throughout history that had to abandon their homes to feed their families. As a migrant myself, I empathise with the message of the monument. It's a brilliant sunrise. We are now in summer. Yesterday was particularly hot for Galicia, mid-30s. Today, slightly cooler, mid-20s. It's a long stage to Oviedo, 34 kilometres. Fortunately, there are many rest stops along the way. The small villages of less than 50 inhabitants have facilities, albergues and places to eat. Late afternoon when I arrive in Oviedo. I have stayed in the Albergue Orrio for the last 3 years, and the lady recognises me when I hand over my Australian passport.
Buongiorno. Buongiorno. $29 to Finisterre and 26.5 to Muxia.
medalla del ejército holandés.
Ah, vale. Pues sí.
I have gone to the lighthouse to watch the sunset quite a few times, and when I heard of a sunset cruise with the added bonus of seeing dolphins and cruise around the coastline I walked today with wine and food thrown in as well, then it's a no-brainer.
He said there were quite a few pods. I can, yeah, can spot him. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Pero es que antes estaba justo, ahora viene más tarde. Mira, pasa por aquí abajo. Está para allá, para allá.
Siéntate. ¿Eh?
Finisterre, en el año 1883. Esta sirena es la única que se conserva en toda Europa que todavía sigue funcionando con aire comprimido y es conocida como la Barca, porque el sonido que produce es similar al rugido de este animal.
Finisterre to Muxia, 29 kilometres, my 84th and last day of this 3-month journey. I have done this section both ways, from Muxia to Finisterre and from Finisterre to Muxia. It's a beautiful stage and I'm in no rush to finish it. It's the 84th day, my last final day in this epic journey of some 2,300 kilometres, starting in Algeciras on such a long time ago, March the 29th in fact, and today is 20th of June. I walked from Algeciras down to Tarifa, southernmost point of the peninsula, and then westwards to Cádiz on the Camino del Estrecho, then northwards on the Via Augusta Camino to Sevilla, and from Sevilla I walked to Cordoba, crossing areas that I had to find caminos because there are no real caminos, and some GRs, so that I could actually go through Carmona, which is my surname, and then through to Écija, the place where I was born, through to Cordoba. And from Cordoba, I then went on the Camino Mozárabe to Mérida to join the De La Plata, then northwards to Salamanca, and to Astorga on the Camino Francés to Santiago. And from Santiago, I travelled northwards again on the Camino del Norte to Ribadeo, and from Ribadeo westwards past Playa de las Catedrales to Estaca de Bares, the northernmost point. And that was day 67, and that's when my brother-in-law finished his Camino and went back to Madrid. Then I just caught a train to Oviedo and did the Camino Primitivo. And now, final day, day 84, I would walk into Muxia to finish this 3 months journey. When I was doing the Camino Primitivo, I got a call from my brother-in-law that my mother was in hospital, and she was in a very bad way. In fact, they said she only had hours in which to live. I then made my way back to Madrid, where I managed to return in time to hold my mother's hand before she took her last breath, and she passed away last week. So this three-month journey, which began as a celebration for my father's 100th, has now, in some ways, has sort of come full circle, and with the passing of my mother as well. But I aim to finish the journey and finish what I set out to do. And my sister has given me some personal things from my mother, which I will throw away into the Atlantic Ocean when I get to Muxia. The Atlantic Ocean has a significant historical part in my life as a migrant, as I boarded a ship in Vigo in 1962 as my family migrated to Australia. So it's a fitting, a full circle to this journey. A lovely Donativo rest stop with seats and shade cover. Great to rest and refresh. It's a hot day and it's very welcoming. I am the most relaxed I have been for the whole journey, literally slowing myself down. Generally I start around 6:30. Nowadays, today for instance, it was well after 8, and I've been stopping at various places where I would have continued on earlier in the journey. It's all part of when you're doing something that long. You just want it. You really, as close, when you get as close as possible to your destination, you just feel as if you want to freeze time and stop it getting there. And I guess there's an element of that. And I basically want this to continue on and on and on, but I know that the end destination is very, very close. Buen camino. Buen camino. Ale, buen camino. There is now only one thing to do, and that is to go to the sanctuary of the Virgen de Barca and throw into the ocean a precious stone and a shell belonging to my mother. My Camino journey, which is coming to an end, has come full circle. What began with a celebration of my father's 100th anniversary is now concluding with honouring the death of my mother by throwing a few personal possessions into the Atlantic Ocean.